Hello and welcome back, I'm Lygo and this is My Life in Football Manager, episode 38, and in today's episode we've got a bit of a special because of the disappointing end to the season. I've rolled the playoffs, the season review and the transfers all into this episode, so if you enjoy the episode, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel to see more Football Manager content on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. But firstly, picking up where we left off, coming to the schedule, and we had that disappointing defeat on the final day against Crystal Palace, and then the plan for the playoffs was to roll them all into one video because it really was more about scheduling and just not wanting to hold the series up too much. So the Portsmouth game, the first one, we went and beat them 2-1 at their place, and it was a good result. The only disappointing thing was their goal in the 90th minute. If we could have brought back a 2-0 lead, I think we'd have definitely had it in the bag. Everything went to plan. The only player not having a good game was Coyle, and yeah, the only disappointment was their finish in the 90th minute because they didn't really create much. We had a lot of chances and we took two of them, and it was looking good until that 90th minute goal, which ultimately has led to us being dumped out of the playoffs because they came to our place. It went to extra time and unfortunately ended up 3-1 to them on the day, 4-3 on aggregate. And after such a good season, it's just ended in utter disappointment. Firstly, the Crystal Palace game, and then the second blow of losing to Portsmouth as well in the semi-final of the playoffs was nothing short of devastating. But all in all, I suppose the season has been an utter success because when you look back to the start of it, the board were asking us to fight bravely against relegation. They were expecting us to go down. We've absolutely trumped that. We finished third in the league, and Crystal Palace and Portsmouth are going to play it out. I'm not too bothered who goes up between them now. I mean, Crystal Palace arguably deserve it because bottom at Christmas, bottom three at Christmas, to where they are now is astonishing. So that's the end of the season. Let's move on to the season review. So the end of season review, new arrivals, no surprise to see Sion Spence has got signing of the season. $250,000, 47 games played, 5 goals, 22 assists, averaging a 7.59, and yet rather astonishingly the board are only giving a C+. I think most of the signings we had were good. The two disappointments that stand out, Drew Yearwood, $1.5 million, maybe regret that he made a couple of appearances. That was only ever the plan. It was probably a little bit too much to pay for him. And then Odin Bailey, $8 million spent. The board reasonably pleased with that. Yeah, the goal return and the assists just not there, and even the average rating couldn't get the best out of him. Do we keep him for next year? Do we try and move him on and recoup some money? Who knows? There's confirmation of our third place finish. Jero Hanlon, top scorer with 25 goals for the club. 5-0 defeat at Swansea, biggest win. Match to remember was beating West Ham back at the start of the season, 3-0 away win there. And then goal of the season was in a game against Portsmouth. Finances all looking good. There's a couple of reds there, but the sponsorship same as last season. Competition prize money strangely down on last season. Don't know if that's because the rest of the income hasn't come in from the Championship, but other than that, all looking good. Team of the season then looks like this. Young can go, Morgan, Umar, McGuinness and Lawrence at the back. Taylor and Anderson in midfield. Bailey, Spence, Osborne and O'Hanlon at the attacking core of the team. The only real contention I have there is Bailey. One of our worst players. Don't know how he's made it into there. I think the player I'd have put in there would have been Chris Shotton, another right-sided player, but ultimately I don't think it matters too much for the best 11. Maybe it does. And then the accolades, I'm not going to go through all of these, but Sion Spence winning a lot there. 14 player of the matches, highest average rating and signing of the season. 2 manager of the month for me consecutively in February and March. So that brings this season to an end. Initial budgets for next year, we've got 10 million to spend, $250,000 on wages, nothing huge. Maybe they don't trust me with the money after 2 signings that we made. I've forgotten now, the centre-back Brook and Bailey. To be honest, can't blame them. Any time I've spent money, it's not been well invested. The cheaper signings that I've made have been the better ones. But club vision, expectations, let's have a look if there's anything new on here. A lot of stuff new on here. Signed players under the age of 23, happy with that. Don't sign any over 30s. Play possession football, making the most of set pieces, whilst being entertaining and high tempo pressing. So they're not looking for much. Signing players to sell for a profit, arguably because I'm starting to bankrupt them. They're looking for a mid-table finish next year, and then real progression in the Championship, establishing ourselves as a top half and growing the club's reputation. So A lot of new stuff there, but I'm going to agree to that. Finish up there. I won't show the end of team season meeting. But what I'll do now is play on over the summer. In terms of jobs, unless something special comes up, I will be staying at Sunderland. I'm thinking if it's an established Premier League team, I'm not interested in moving to another Championship team. I think we can do with Sunderland what we could with any other Championship team. So I think an established Premier League team or a top European team. Now, I'm not talking real elite level, but something like maybe a PSV, maybe upper level German teams, something like that might be interesting. So I'll get playing and we'll see how we get on there. So I've played through the summer, and not just the summer, but also the start of the league season as well. What I wanted to do is get to the 1st of September, the close of the transfer window. And as you can see, I'm still at Sunderland. We did have one near exit over the summer, and that was to Leicester, but unfortunately they went in a different direction in the end. So we're still at Sunderland. We've made a lot of transfers and started the season very well. 7 games played, 16 points on the board. And if you're wondering why I never did the team report and assessment of the squad, that is because I wanted to do something a little bit different this season. Just shore up the defence and try and be a bit more potent in attack. And the way I've done that is a switching tactic. I've come to a 3 at the back, or 5 at the back, however you want to interpret this. One holding midfielder that allows the wide wing backs or wingers to push on. Ahead of them, 2 Mazzalas playing in the channels, and then a false 9 and advance forward. And the idea is we're going to overload the wings while having the extra defender at the back, allowing all the players ahead of them to push on. So at any time we should have 3 players at the back with a protecting midfielder. So we're strong in the middle, we're going to defend centrally, push them out wide, and so far it seems to be working. But let's go have a look at the transfers that we've done. Go to the transfer history, and we'll start at the back end of last season. And because we've been busy, I'm not going to go through them all. Any players that are not first team players, I'm just going to gloss over. So we've got Rohan Lennon, Owen Sharp, Sam Scholes, Mike Evans and Owen Evans. All came in, young players just to add into the academy. Rory Hamill is a young player, 2-star keeper, 5-star potential, but he is our backup keeper. He came in from Derry City, 150,000. I think another shrewd addition to the squad. Colleen Norton, I was undecided on him where he was going to fit. But he's come in, he's a squad player, and he's playing either as a false 9 or advanced forward, and he's coming on a little bit. He's played some international games for Glenavon and was scoring plenty of goals for them. He's got 2 games under his belt for us, no goals as yet, but hopefully that will pick up over time. And then a big addition up front, Anthony Gordon, and he was brought in mainly to play as this false 9 or deep line forward, but I'm aiming for a false 9. I don't want to hold up the ball. But also I thought his experience and versatility, that we can also swap back to the 4-2-3-1 if needs be, or another variant, and he's going to have plenty of room to play in the side. He's coming from Stoke for 6.5 million. An established Championship player, and 3 goals for himself already after 7 games, so looking good so far. And the final one before we ticked over was Daltovich. He's come in, couldn't get a work permit for him. He's a young player, so he's gone out on loan as well. And then the players out before the tick over. Let's scroll right down. And the first one, Teddy Sharman-Lowe, he was a disappointment for us. Came in €2 million, moved on for 350. Very much a transfer where we've cut our losses. Mark McGuinness went to Derby for €6 million. The player that we didn't want to lose, unfortunately it was in his contract, and by the time I realised, couldn't keep hold of him, so he's moved on to €6 million for a minimum fee release. Then 2 young players, Glenn Chisholm and Xander Smith, moving on for small sums. Then we tick over to the new season. Players in, we've got Nigel Longwick has come in from Groningen for €2.5 million, basically replacing Mark McGuinness. He's going to be more of a squad player at centre-back, because we'll come to our main addition a bit later. Andy O'Connor Greenidge has come in as a striker, 18-year-old, 5-star potential. Came in on a free from Denmark. Michael Nickerson and Matija Petsovic, 2 young players just added into the academy. Arno Kuadio is coming from Everton for just over $500,000. Player that can play at fullback if needs be, but will be our ball-winning midfielder. A young player, Ivorian, 3-star ability already, 6 under 20 caps, hopefully one for the future as well. Another couple of young players in Bamford, Sithole and Salomon, and also Jamie Gormley as well. He's come in €1 million, but a young player. And then our marquee signing, Christian Marquez from Wolves, $8.25 million, has come in as a first choice centre-back, replacing Mark McGuinness. And at 24 years old, he's got 23 under-21 caps. Was a regular along top division clubs over the last couple of years. You can see playing in France and experiencing the Premier League as well. So very good addition from Wolves. And then a deadline day signing of Craig Webber coming for $12 million. And he's a left back, but going to be playing as a left wing back. He's come in as a replacement for Ben Morgan, who unfortunately lost. Tottenham have activated his minimum release clause for clubs in a higher division. He's moved on for $10.5 million. We tried to get him back on loan, which Tottenham agreed to, but unfortunately Morgan himself didn't want to come back. And if we come to the history, he's a player that we brought in for under $500,000. He's moved on for a $10 million profit. Sad to lose him. He was a key player on that left-hand side, but a huge transfer profit made there, so it's not all negative. And then if I run quickly down the outs through the transfer window, we've got Ryan Murray has moved on to Ipswich for a free. Trey Coyle has gone to Bristol Rovers for $500,000. Ben Close, and we got $2,500 for him. He's a key leader in the dressing room, but wasn't going to be playing. I don't think he played at all last season. No, just a couple of cup games, so you can see why we've moved him on. A lot of players going out on loan. Andrew Townley, a young player with a poor personality, is the reason he's moved on. Andreas Ilya, a young player, moved out permanently because he wanted to leave. Miles Peart-Harris has gone to Peterborough for $850,000. Played enough games last year, didn't really set the world alight, so he's moved on. George Nunn wasn't going to be playing this season, so he's moved to Motherwell for just over $500,000, and we've seen the Ben Morgan transfer for $10.25 million. So that wraps up the transfer business, and the squad is now looking very strong. We will finally show the team report and the squad depth, which looks like this. And with the 3-star filter on, we've got two good keepers, Wally Yonk and Hamill. Hamill not quite at 3-star. We've got a lot of strength there in centre back. We've got Marquez, Umar, Ugachukwu. Lawrence can even play there, and Jack Brook as well. Mackenzie Osborne will be playing on the right hand side, so we've got strength on the wings there with Osborne, Lawrence, Webber, and also other players that we're retraining like Chris Shotton. Moving further forward, we've got Anderson can play defensive midfield, but he will be playing and is playing further forward in the team now. So that means Lawrence will probably be our primary defensive midfielder, along with a couple of young players in Dalrymple. The young player that's come through the system should get plenty of game time this year. Looking at the centre of midfield, Anderson, Perry, not so much O'Hanlon, but if we just open this up, plenty of strength in depth there. Sion Spence, key player from last year, moving back a little bit, but with still the licence to roam forward, as well as players like Jack Taylor, Drew Yearwood, and also Odin Bailey. I'm retraining, see if I can get the best out of him in a Mazzala role. And then O'Hanlon, Sion Spence can play up front if needs be as that false 9. Odin Bailey, Anthony Gordon, plus a couple of young players as well. So the squad's looking very healthy, and that's reflected by the Championship table, which looks like this at the start of the season. And yes, we're a little bit behind West Brom. We had one defeat to Norwich, which isn't the worst in the world. But I think another push for promotion on the cards, and we'll start the league games again in next episode, which will be against the leaders West Brom at home. So tune in to see that one. Hit subscribe to make sure you're notified when the episode is available. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.